There was just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Hello and welcome to Cancelled, the podcast where we examine the life and crimes of naughty celebrities. I'm Jessie Stevens.
And I'm Claire Stevens.
And Claire is James Kimberly Corden.
Oh, I forgot about his middle name.
Yeah, it's Kimberly.
It suits him.
It suits him.
I think we mentioned Kim Beazley in the original episode, and I'll mention it again. He looks a little bit like Kim Beazley.
There is a Kim look.
Yeah.
Is it a Kim K look? No, it's different Kim.
It's a male Kim
It's
look.
a male Kim, and it's very different to a female Kim. We need to revisit Kimmy Corden. You've been a very naughty boy. There are new crimes. Was cats a crime?
Yes.
Yes, we established that. He was found guilty.
He was actually, we found him guilty on a number of counts of playing animals.
Yeah.
Cats.
Cinderella, he played a mouse.
A mouse.
And we went playing a cat is one too many cats,
Mm-hmm.
but playing two anthropomorphic figures in a year
Too many.
is actually too many. And that was a problem. And there was a tweet about cats at the time, still one of my favourites. I saw cats and now I can't fucking sleep and I want to throw up. And that really captures how people felt.
I can't look at a still from that film without pissing myself laughing
You know
and
what we
thinking,
should
what
do?
were we doing?
I know we promise cancelled listeners things all the time and then we forget. But do you reckon this summer you and I should sit down
And watch Cats
and
together?
watch Cats and recap it on the Twins' thoughts?
Yes, that's a great idea.
Like no one
Because it's like, it's not worth an episode. But,
No,
but
but
it's
it'd be
worth
a
a
bit of fun.
moment. Yeah.
That actually might be fun.
That's what the holidays are for.
But now there are additions, and they actually don't have a lot to do with animals. And this is why you'll often hear judges say, I get a bit bored, because each crime needs a new court.
And you can't bring the other things into it, and it's just...
We won't explain it because we don't want to bore you with our expertise, of which we have none. We don't understand how this works, actually. So we're going to do it our own way. My structure today is as follows. New rude behaviour.
Yes, this is my favourite.
Evidence we forgot last time about Britney Spears.
You know what? I think in every episode we've got forgotten evidence. I think we could go back
And just go,
every episode and go,
forgotten
sorry,
evidence.
didn't research hard enough.
Missed that rabbit hole.
5 things I've noticed since. I've got a lot of additional Leo content. Anyway, continue.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Recycled jokes, nail biting, and finally, Mel B.
Okay.
Scary Spice. Firstly, rudeness. We don't like it. Claire, can you remember why we don't like rudeness? 1, 2, 3.
It's not very nice. Yeah.
Exactly. It's mean and it's not very nice. In June of this year, a restaurant owner named Keith McNally posted on his Instagram the following. James Corden is a hugely gifted comedian, but a tiny cretin of a man, and the most abusive customer to my Balthazar servers since the restaurant opened 25 years ago. I know what you're thinking, Claire. Didn't you, Jessie, attend Balthazar
It's your favourite
in
fact.
June, which is the same month that James Corden did? In fact, I did.
Did you see any famous people when you were there?
AMA, ask me anything.
Oh, no. Okay. Did you see any famous people when you were there?
No.
Were there beautiful people there?
Oh, we saw someone we thought was a cricketer, but he wasn't. And then we saw someone else and we were like, because the whole thing, this restaurant promises famous people. It's the only reason we went. We couldn't afford it. Don't get us wrong. We had like an entree. But we were promised celebrities. We didn't see any.
It's weird. Sometimes you go to those places and you're right. You don't see celebrities, but you see people who look like celebrities.
Yeah.
And that's confusing because it's like, are you in their same circles? And that's why you kind of look
Are you like
like
an
them?
agent?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a story about that incident. We sit up at the bar. We couldn't get like a real table because we're not James Corden. We sat up at the bar and my partner was like, can I have a beer? And the beer was, 26 Australian dollars. And they poured it 3/4 of the way to the top.
Oh.
And he looked at me and he went,
Do I?
I've got to. It's 26 Australian dollars. They've given me 3/4 of a beer. And he said, excuse me, can I just get a little bit of a top up here with the beer I haven't touched? The guy did it, but he didn't seem stoked. We weren't his favourite customers.
Okay.
And it's just interesting because what does that tell you?
that the service
The
staff...
service is maybe not up to scratch.
Okay, so you had an observation that the service staff wasn't great.
In June 2022.
And basically you're saying if you noticed that, then maybe James Corden noticed that.
That's just all I'm saying. There are 2 managers' reports that were obviously posted to Instagram. The first, in June, the month I was there, James Corden was here on table 61. After eating his main course, Corden showed the hair, he found a hair in his meal, to Balthazar manager, G, just goes by the letter G, who was very apologetic. Corden was extremely nasty to G and said, get us another round of drinks this second and also take care of all of our drinks so far. This way, I won't write any nasty reviews on Yelp or anything like that.
If you're James Corden, why would you be writing reviews on Yelp and not putting them like on your
On
Instagram?
Twitter. I'm like, I'm not looking at James Corden having a bad service experience and worrying about him on Yelp. I'm worrying about him on the Late Late Show being like, you know what, shit, Balthazar. Like, no one's worried about your Yelp review.
Oh,
Or like your Google review.
It's a very strange threat. I'm interested in these managers' reports because I worked in hospitality for a very long time. In my diary, sure, but I never did a formal, hey, that guy at that table was annoying.
That's because you worked, with all due respect, in poor people places. And this is a rich people place.
Okay.
All right? He wasn't, I guess, in the end too bothered by that hair because he went back. Right? He went back in October. So June, July, August, September. Okay, he'd forgotten. He'd forgotten about the hair.
Mm-hmm.
And he went back for brunch with his wife. He asked for a table outside. That's actually not relevant to the story. Mr. Corden's wife ordered an egg yolk omelette with cheese and salad.
Mm-hmm.
A few moments after they received the food, James called over their server and said there was a little bit of egg white mixed with the egg yolk.
Okay, well, that's not what she asked for.
No. And the server informed the floor manager. The kitchen remade the dish. But unfortunately, they sent it back with the fries instead of the salad.
Oh,
So it was wrong in
no.
a new way.
So we're compounding the mistake.
Yeah.
That's what happens when we get nervous.
And, last time was a hair. So there is compounding. That's when James Corden began yelling like crazy. This is a quote to the server. And apparently he said, you can't do your job. You can't do your job. Maybe I should go into that kitchen and cook the omelette myself. And the server was very apologetic and brought the floor manager over to the table. They returned the dish. They sorted it. And this led to Corden being described as the most abusive customer they'd had in 25 years. And he was banned from the establishment. Now, why didn't she want egg white in the egg yolk? I Googled that because I just needed some clarity.
Okay, yes.
Because I think preference is different to an allergy.
Mm-hmm.
The woman has an allergy, right? She has an allergy. She needs not the egg white. And I went, that sounds like a made-up allergy. So I Googled it and I did some medical research because I was like, well, this is a courtroom.
Gotta get deep on this stuff.
Apparently, it's a thing
Okay.
where you're allergic to the egg white and not the egg yolk.
So
apparently, people have allergies to eggs.
Mhm.
Apparently, they have allergies to the egg white, not the egg yolk, because the egg white is full of the protein.
I will say the following. James Corden, very rude. We do not need to speak to anybody like this. It's unnecessary. Balthazar,
Get your
shit together. This was a risk, him releasing this, because he's like, we made a mistake and he complained. And then we made another mistake and he complained. And then we made another mistake and he also complained.
Balthazar, I was thinking about this and I was like, this has been the most amazing PR because everyone will go, we should go to that restaurant that James Corden assaulted people at. But it's a restaurant that he found a hair at, nearly killed his wife, and then they sent it back and
Wasn't what she asked for.
If I ordered a salad and they brought it with fries, I'd go, yes.
Yeah, I'd go, out of my control.
Out of my
I tried to be good.
Yeah, I ordered the salad, which is what I promised to do today. Yeah. What gets eaten on this plate is not anyone's business. Look, it's at this point that things get a little murky because according to McNally, he's the Balthazar guy, Corden called him after the post and apologised profusely. Mm-hmm. So then his ban was lifted.
Lovely.
As if you'd want to go. Like, they are spitting in everything you order. But then he told the New York Times less than a week later, I haven't done anything wrong on any level. He said the whole thing was silly. And he said to the New York Times, I think it's beneath all of us. It's beneath you. It's certainly beneath your publication. Yes. Is it below the New York Times? Absolutely. Is it below cancelled? No,
it was made for cancelled. But to that I will also say, Mr. McNally, you're the one who's been spending your time posting allegations about James Corden rather than investing in training your staff.
To take an order correctly.
It would be a better use of your time.
And at this stage, Corden sort of blamed it on eggs, which was a really interesting kind of tactic. Because he said a lot of people send eggs back. But I don't think this is about the eggs, really. It's about the way that...
It's about the abuse.
It's about the abuse of the wait staff. Then on his own show, this is finally on the Monday night, he backtracked again.
Look, when you make a mistake, you've got to take responsibility. So I thought I would share with you what happened. So a couple of weeks ago, I was in New York with some friends and we went for breakfast at one of my absolute favourite restaurants. It's a place called Bazaz, and I love it there, right? So when everybody's meals came, my wife was given the food that she was allergic to. But no, she hadn't taken a bite of it or anything. No worries, we sent it back, all was good. As her meal came wrong to the table the third time, in the heat of the moment, I made a sarcastic, rude comment, right, about cooking it myself. And it is a comment I deeply regret. But here's the truth of it, right? Because I didn't shout or scream, like I didn't get up out of my seat, I didn't call anyone names or use derogatory language, I've been walking around thinking that I hadn't done anything wrong, right? But the truth is, I made a rude comment, and it was wrong. It was an unnecessary comment. It was ungracious to the server.
Claire, what do you think?
I think that is a rude comment. I would have gone with the age-old tactic of deny, deny, deny. I would have not acknowledged that and just pretended that this guy was making some crazy stories up on his Instagram, but he's really been like, oh, no, sorry, all of that was factual.
Okay, we're not done, because enter Britney Spears.
Mm-hmm.
Britney Spears' fans saw all this commotion, and they went, well, we don't like him either.
Oh.
Why don't we like him? And then they remembered.
Okay.
It's 2016, and Britney Spears went on carpool karaoke.
Thank you for helping me get to work. This traffic, it's just gridlock everywhere.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And she's talked about this since in an interview on a radio station in the US, right? And I feel like now when any celebrity turns up for an interview, it's like, hi, new movie, new album, you know, how are you going? How do you prepare? What was it like on set? Blah, 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 blah. Now talk to me about James Corden. That's an additional question we throw in. All right? Britney Spears.
Because you know what makes headlines? James Corden being rude. Every time.
Do you have a story? Well, actually, yes, she does. She's in carpool karaoke in 2016. Does she remember Corden's name? No. She repeatedly refers to him as the guy. And that's fine because we know who she means.
That's like Mariah Carey.
Yes.
I love that energy.
The guy in the car.
The guy.
Singing. Yeah, that's James Corden. She says,
It was fun. It was really fun. The guy, he was just so incredibly sweet. And I had no idea he had kids and all this. Like, he's like a teddy bear.
Right.
I just want to hug you right now. And it was fun.
what's your beef? Great question. Well, I reckon it was unclear whether it was him or someone who was part of the crew. I'm going to assume it was the crew. Asked her if there were any songs she didn't want to sing. And she said, oops, I did it again, and Hit Me Baby one more time. Hates singing it.
Okay, all right. I mean, I will say if she was in my car that I would want her to sing those songs, but that's fine.
Corden already had the costumes.
Oh,
He had a wig. He had a schoolgirl costume.
all right.
What was he going to do? She described it as a bit awkward and told the radio station, oh my God, he kept playing them. He put a damn wig on for it. And I went along with it. Apparently, she did say to him on the day, I don't want to hear that song again, but they played it anyway.
What song of yours do you not want to hear again?
Of course, Baby and Oops. Like, hello. Oh my God. And he kept playing that. He put a damn wig on for it. I'm like, we've
You were a
got.
good sport, though. You went along with it.
Yeah, I totally went along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, her team has come out and said, Britney Spears didn't really watch carpool karaoke before we went into it. And we think she didn't know what it was. And in hindsight, she should have watched an episode before.
She should have been briefed.
She didn't know.
You know
she
who else
had
wasn't
to sing.
briefed? Mariah Carey. Anyway,
No.
that's a different story. Yes.
No, I don't think she knew she had to sing,
Mm.
which is why it's gone down in history as one of the worst. Because she mouths. She just mouths it.
No.
I think she's doing her best, but like, he goes to her at the beginning.
You know your song, Oops, I Did It Again?
Yes.
What's that about? What's it really about?
I don't know.
I really don't know.
You don't know what it's about?
I think it's just a song.
Okay.
So she doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't know.
That
She doesn't have a
is the
question.
answer
To every
song. I don't know. It's just a song. I didn't write it. Why'd you think I wrote it?
Listen to the song and then see what you think. I don't know. That's what she said. And I don't think she really knows all the words to her songs.
No.
Anyway, that's not James Corden's fault. Like, if you go on that show, you're singing your back catalogue. It's called Carpool Karaoke. We need to watch it before we go on
He's
it.
bought costumes. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm actually forgiving him for that.
Mhm.
I went back and watched it. I thought it was great content. Moving on to using other comedians' material.
Mm.
On Monday, October 31, Corden opened his Late Late Show Halloween episode with a monologue that addressed the Twitter takeover and Elon Musk, right? And I'm just going to play you a little clip, and I want you to tell me if you see any similarities between what James Corden said and a joke that Ricky Gervais made a few years ago, all right?
Because if someone puts up a poster in a town square that says guitar lessons available,
That's like going into a town square, seeing a big notice board, and there's a notice, guitar lessons,
like you don't get people in the town go, I don't want to play the guitar.
and you go, but I don't fucking want guitar lessons.
I mean, that sign wasn't for you. It was for somebody else. You don't have to get mad about all of it.
Fine, it's not for you then. Just walk away. Don't worry about it.
Do you see any similarities?
That is the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard.
I listened to that
Mm-hmm.
and I went, it's actually not James Corden's fault.
Oh, no, it's his writer's fault.
Yeah.
It's his writer, but,
There's no way he writes his jokes.
but you know that there's a theory that they set him up, that a writer did that because the
No.
writer hates him. Because everybody he works with apparently hates him. And so somebody did that intentionally so that he would say it and look like an idiot.
Because there's no way any comedian can know every joke that's ever
No.
been made, even if it wasn't a setup. There's also such thing as having heard something and unconsciously not realizing you're reproducing it. Like that happens in comedy all the time, right? Another example, he's also stolen a joke from another British comedian named Noel Fielding. And this was a few years ago. But during his set, Fielding had joked that the best way to stop someone from mugging you was to whisper in their ear, "Oi, mate," which he suggested would make the attacker put down their knife and ask, "What is it?" As if he had a secret. Like pretending he had a secret would stop you getting mugged.
He had a knife, basically, and he got his knife out, and because he wanted my wallet, and I didn't have any money, so he was going to stab me, and he got his knife out like that, and it came down like that, and I really panicked. I thought, this is it, I'm too young to die, what's happening? And as it came down like that, right at the last minute, I went, "Oi, mate." And he went, "What is it?"
In 2017, Corden said during an interview on The Late Late Show,
I find the best way to get out of being mugged, if someone tries to mug you, is just immediate. So if someone comes up and goes, "Give me your wallet, man, give me your phone," just go, "You're never going to believe what's happened." They go like this, they go,
Fielding replied to a fan at the time who accused Corden of stealing his joke, and he wrote, "I believe this is my material." It happens all the time.
Yeah, joke theft I do find tricky because, I mean, one, it is confusing with writers and that kind of thing. Also, there's such a thing as parallel thinking that, you know,
Yeah.
a certain context, it creates similar jokes. But also, I do believe people can unconsciously hear things and absorb it.
And I remembered when I was in primary school, I don't know if we've talked about this, when I wrote my quote book.
No.
There was this one day where I was like overcome with ideas of famous quotes, and I thought I might be a famous quote writer.
Yeah.
So I filled an exercise book with quotes, and I was like, "Claire,
Oh,
you've
yes,
got to
yes,
read
yes.
this shit. This is the most profound shit I've ever seen." Like, I read it and I get tears in my eyes. Read my quotes. And you said, "They're great. They're just not yours." And it was like, "Oh, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind." And I was like, fuck, where did that even? It's just like coming from
coming through me. It's coming through my fingers and onto the page.
But we all make mistakes, all right? And we don't realize we are drawing heavily on other people's
Hard written, hard
yes,
effort material.
exactly. Okay. This technically isn't a crime, but look at the evidence. Namely, James Corden's fingers.
Okay. I mean, I'm into
Describe
finger evidence.
them.
Oh, yuck. Okay, so he bites his nails, which is fine. I also bite my nails. But he does a thing which I do not do and which makes me feel sick, which is he goes to like the cuticle of the nail and bites down and peels skin. And the only way I can visually explain this is in The Black Swan, there is a scene where she does it and it's like the really thin, fine skin on the side of your nails. And basically he's just got like scars all over his hands.
This was after the Balthazar incident.
Oh,
I
he
think
was
really stressed.
anxious.
Because we are used to people gnawing on the end of their fingers, but the skin surrounding the nail bed, in my medical opinion, that's going to lead to soreness.
Yeah.
A bit of stinging. There is blood spurting from the hands, which is an infection hazard, okay? I think he needs to wear gloves for a few days just to stop the intensity of the infected fingers and put it down. It's not technically a crime, but it is a sign of anxiety, and for that we are sorry.
For some reason, I just, my first thought when I saw that was, oh, don't go patting cats. Don't. If you go pat a cat, you'll get sick.
You get an infection through your...
I saw a video the other day of a girl who had pet a cat in like Greece. And then it was like me patting this cat, me 24 hours later, and her face is all puffy and she's in an emergency room.
It's a common story.
And I just think that
he didn't just pat a cat, he became a cat.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm worried about him and the cats, but just it'll get in via the cut.
It will. Mel B has arrived. Mel B and Mel C confuse me.
Yeah, me too. No.
It's too many Mels for one band.
No, Mel C is the sporty one.
Yes. And Mel B is the scary one.
Yep.
She was interviewed just a few weeks ago, and the reporter went through his questions. How's your album? You were on The Voice Australia. Congratulations, la, la, la. Before you leave any comments, RE, James Corden.
We've got a blank James Corden headline waiting to go on the website.
Well, yeah, Claire. She has a remark.
Oh, I bet.
He actually asked who are like the worst celebrities you've met. James Corden wasn't the only one she named. Anyway, she said,
I think you always have to be nice to the people that you work with, whether it be production, camera guys, sound, lighting. We all work for the same thing, so you should always be nice.
I respect that. Normal.
And he hasn't been very nice.
She also said that the other person she doesn't like is Jessie J.
Oh, me love. Okay. I'm into that.
Doesn't like her.
Specificity. I like Jessie J.
Was Jessie J?
Yes, on The Voice.
No.
But they weren't at the same time, if that's what you're asking.
No, why do I feel like Jessie J was on The Voice and Mel B was on X Factor?
Oh, I don't know. They definitely didn't cross over because Australian television can't afford that kind of budget. So it's one at a time.
So when did they meet?
I don't know, Jessie, but they must have, just through the industry.
Okay, she doesn't like her.
Okay, why?
And she also said Jerry Halliwell is annoying.
But the Spice Girls are meant to be really close.
And she was like, yeah, we're close, but she's really effing annoying.
Okay.
It's like, you just said who you hated the most, and you named Jessie J, beef there, James Corden, worst human, like, they're your words, and your friend Jerry, like, weird. Anyway.
I really like when people make definitive comments about him being the worst person in Hollywood.
Yes. It's time for charges and sentences.
Okay.
I'm going to go first. My charge. What can we get him on? I flipped through my book because last time it was all about kids.
Being rude is all we can get him on, surely.
Well, yes. Being rude, which is mean and makes people uncomfortable, it is, and this is what I found in the book, better to be nice. Especially to wait staff.
Yeah.
My sentence... We're recording this at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I've had a can of Coke. And for some reason, I feel like those things are relevant. Because my sentence is what can only be described as a bad dream.
Okay.
They're disparate images I shall put together.
Oh, right. To form
a scenario in which I think he has to experience.
Okay.
He's at Balthazar. And he's apologised. And everyone's gone, it's okay, James. Things are fine. But he's surrounded by paps because they're like, he's going to snap.
Yes.
So he sits down with either soup or pasta. Just something slurpy. And he sees something yucky in it.
Like a fingernail.
Well, he goes yuck, yuck. And he can't help himself. So he starts waving his fingers, waving his hands in the air.
Yeah.
And the wait staff go, they've already noticed something's off. And they go to his table. And he says, there's a finger in my parcel. And they say, James, it's yours. You bit it off. And now it's in your thing.
It's like a horror movie.
Yes, and it's floating. Can't use a knife and fork.
Okay.
So he's got to eat like a cat.
He's got to slurp it like a cat slurps milk.
With its little sandpaper tongue. It is like a bad dream. It's a fever dream.
My charge, similar to you, is around being rude, but more specifically being cruel to people so that they have a vendetta against him.
Yeah, okay.
That's the charge.
Yeah.
Now,
being at the centre of vendettas.
Yes. My sentence is this. You know how awards shows, like the Emmys, will have, say, like an in memoriam section?
Uh-huh.
They need a section for celebrities who have not had a good year.
Right.
PR-wise. And so at the Emmys, they have James Corden. They have a moment for James Corden. And what they do is they get people up on stage. Like, you know, in memoriam, it'll have all these videos of people being like, she was great. What a great performer. She really informed me. That it's a video package, except it's people in Hollywood saying the mean things that James Corden did to them.
Right, and so it's almost like, let's just get it all out.
Yeah, let's just get it all out. And I think it's got to be on the public stage.
Yeah.
It's got to be where all the celebrities are forced to watch it.
Yeah.
And what that means is that you kind of have that and then you draw a little underline.
Does he get a right to reply?
No. So you've got your Emmys, you've got in memoriam, and then you've got in memoriam kind of for James Corden.
So what would it be called instead of in memoriam?
Like cancelled.
Yeah. Yeah, like the people that were naughty this year.
Yeah, people like
and just some thoughts about it. Just
you're
like,
a naughty boy.
Yeah.
And it's just all
naughty
these,
boys.
Naughty boys. And they're usually boys.
Yeah.
And it's just got all these people weighing in, sharing their stories.
Yeah.
But it does mean that when he comes back the next year, like a courtroom, no, that has already been admitted.
Yeah.
We said all those things, so we're not dredging
and he had
them
a bad
back up.
night. He had a bad night.
Yeah, of course there may be new evidence.
That's
in which
fine.
case we'll do it again the following
Yeah.
year. As it currently looks, this will probably be a yearly
An
thing.
ongoing situation.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't appear to be getting better.
I think it should start with James Corden.
That sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Cancelled. The executive producer of this podcast is Talissa Bazaz, and the head of podcast is Eliza Ratliff, with audio production by Leah Porges. Follow us on Instagram @The Twin Thoughts, where it looks like we're going to be watching cats.
That'll be a fun time.
There's something no one asked us to do. And we will be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.